It's all doom and gloom today, as we'll be looking at the life and campaigns of Wilmington-on-Sea's grumpiest undertaker, the dour Scotsman himself, Private James Fraser. From Fraser's display of medals in the Dad's Army episode Battle of the Giants, we can deduce Fraser's ribbon bar contained 4 medals: the World War I trio and a rather unique medal, the Polar Medal. Fraser stated in this episode that he served under Shackleton, implying that Shackleton led the expedition. Sir Ernest Shackleton was a renowned Antarctic explorer who either led or participated in 3 Antarctic expeditions between 1901 and 1917. These were the Discovery, Nimrod, and Endurance expeditions. Therefore, we can identify the Polar Medal awarded to Fraser was for the 1907 to 1909 Nimrod Polar Expedition. We can narrow it down to this specific expedition because Shackleton had previously travelled under Scott of the Antarctic in 1902 for his first expedition, and the third and last expedition that Shackleton conducted was during World War I, so that would have disqualified Fraser, who, as we shall see, was serving in the Royal Navy at that time. Therefore, Fraser served under Shackleton in the 1907 to 1909 Nimrod Polar Expedition. The Nimrod Expedition came about as in 1907 Shackleton, inspired by his initial visit to the Antarctic in 1902, organised and raised funds for his first expedition organised under his leadership. Raising around 1.5 million in today's money, Shackleton bought a ship, the Nimrod, and hired a crew which would transport the expedition, consisting of around 20 members, to Antarctica to spend a year there conducting exploration and research. This would align with Fraser's early life as a merchant sailor. His experience operating in the South Seas as a young man would have made him an ideal candidate for the crew of the Nimrod. The Nimrod expedition itself had several key objectives. Number 1, reaching the South Pole. The primary goal was to be the first team to reach the South Pole. Although they didn't achieve this, they came very close. 2. Conduct scientific research. The expedition aimed to conduct significant scientific research, including geographical, biological, and meteorological studies. 3. Ascending Mount Erebus. This was successful. A party led by Edgeworth David successfully made the first ascent of Mount Erebus, an active volcano on Ross Island. 4. Establishing a base. The expedition established a base at Cape Royds on Ross Island, which served as their main operation centre. 5. Southern Journey. They undertook a southern journey to explore and map uncharted areas of Antarctica along the coastline. The expedition was staffed by a mixed group of scientists and adventurers. Here's a taster of one of the more interesting characters on the expedition. The assistant geologist, Sir Philip Brocklehurst, had an interview in London with Shackleton in 1906 to join the expedition. Shackleton was impressed with his boxing achievements and offered him a role. In later life, Brocklehurst was shot and wounded in World War I, later commanded a Sudanese soldier contingent, and in 1930 Brocklehurst travelled with his wife and 1 servant driving across the Sahara Desert. The expedition was the first to use motor sledges in Antarctica, although they weren't really that successful. Nimrod herself was commanded by Captain Rupert England, originally built in 1866 as a sealer and working ship. At 334 tons, Nimrod had 3 masts with a wooden hull which was unsuited to the polar winter. The hull could be crushed by ice, making it necessary to return to New Zealand after dropping off the shore party in Antarctica and then picking them up the following year. The crew was 14 strong, likely plus Fraser. Remarkably, not a single man was lost, and the expedition returned successfully to the United Kingdom. In December 1909, Shackleton was knighted in the King's birthday honours. For the medal itself, the Polar Medal is a medal awarded by the Sovereign of the United Kingdom to individuals who have outstanding achievements in the field of polar research, and particularly for those who have worked in extended periods in the harsh climate. The medal was originally instituted in 1857 as the Arctic Medal and was awarded to the ships searching for the lost Franklin expedition, who disappeared whilst looking for the Northwest Passage in 1847. The medal was renamed the Polar Medal in 1904 to include both Arctic and Antarctic work. The obverse bears a portrait of the reigning monarch. The reverse of the original Arctic Medal showed a 3-masted ship surrounded by ice floes. A new design was used from 1904, showing the ship Discovery with a sledging party in the foreground. It is accompanied by a clasp that is placed on the ribbon of the medal in order to signify which region or regions service was completed, i.e. the Arctic or Antarctica, or sometimes both. The ribbon is white to reflect the geography of both polar regions. Both silver medals and bronze medals were issued. It was to differentiate those who had landed or exposed themselves to the dangers of the Antarctic and to those that had remained on the ship. From 1939, the medal was then solely issued in silver. 18 recipients have been issued both bronze and silver versions of the medal. It looks like Fraser has a silver polar medal, so all I can imagine is either he was an undocumented member of the Shore Party, he lost his bronze medal in 1939 and it was reissued as a silver medal, or finally, he did so much to improve morale and cheer everyone up that they just issued him a silver medal out of recognition and thanks. According to the Token Publishing Medal Yearbook, up until December 2005, a total of 271 bronze and 1,038 silver medals were made. The Government of Australia replaced the Polar Medal with its own Australian Antarctic Medal in 1987. I'm sure throughout the whole expedition, Fraser never doubted Shackleton's leadership for a moment. We will now move on to Fraser's second batch of medals, the World War I trio. Fraser states that he fought at the Battle of Jutland in 1916 and was a Chief Petty Officer in the Royal Navy. However, he also states that he was just a cook. A plain and simple cook. The Battle of Jutland was the largest naval battle of World War I, fought between the British Royal Navy's Grand Fleet and the German Imperial High Seas Fleet from May 31st to June 1st, 1916. It was the only major encounter between the British Grand Fleet and the German High Seas Fleet in World War I. Battle took place in the North Sea near Denmark. The German fleet, under Admiral Reinhard Scheer, aimed to weaken the British naval forces by launching an ambush. However, the British were forewarned by their codebreakers and managed to put both their battle cruiser force and Grand Fleet to sea early. I can imagine just before the battle, Fraser is there as Chief Petty Officer in the galley, briefing his team and trying to motivate them, telling them that they're all doomed. The battle involved around 250 ships and approximately 100,000 men, resulting in heavy casualties on both sides. The British lost 14 ships and over 6,000 men, whilst Germany lost 11 ships and over 2,500 men. Speaking after the battle, Sir Winston Churchill stated, "The Battle of Jutland was a great and terrible event, and it was a great and terrible victory for the British Navy." Although the battle was tactically inconclusive, with both sides claiming victory, it ultimately reinforced the British naval blockade of Germany and limited the High Seas Fleet's operations for the remainder of the war. Interestingly, Fraser also claimed to have been on minesweepers during World War I and used as a marksman to shoot at mines. The British War Medal. The obverse is an uncrowned King George V and the reverse St George on horseback trampling the eagle shield of the Central Powers and a skull and crossbones, the emblem of death. The ribbon is orange watercoloured with stripes of white and black at each side and borders of royal blue. No clasps came with this medal. 6.5 million were made. Some bronze ones were also issued to Labour battalions. The 1914-15 Star. This medal is likely the 1914-50 Star. It is probable that Fraser, being aged in his 40s in 1914 and a merchant sailor, either volunteered for the Royal Navy after the outbreak of war and as an experienced sailor was accepted in the following months, or was on the Naval Reserves so would have qualified for the 1914-15 Star. Over 2 million of these were awarded going to anyone who served in any theatre of operations between August 1914 and 31st of December 1915. Made of bronze, the obverse is a 4-pointed star with cross swords and 1914-15 inscribed. The ribbon is watered silk, red, white and blue. The Victory Medal is made of yellow bronze, with the obverse the standing figure of Victory holding a palm branch in her right hand and stretching out her left hand. The reverse is a laurel wreath containing the words, "The Great War for Civilization 1914 to 1919. The ribbon is a double rainbow, indigo at the edges and red in the middle. This medal was issued to all those who had victory stars and most of those with a British War Medal. Around 6 million were made. Therefore, in summary, we have Fraser's Polar Medal, his 1914-15 Star, his British War Medal, and the Victory Medal.
If you enjoy Dad's Army, you may also like one of my other videos about Captain Square and his medals. I also have done another video on a nautical theme about submariners, Sharks of Steel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.